start the recording. All right, so the recording is supposedly going. So welcome back, guys, to our 21st session. We've been going for quite a while. I only really have two announcements. The first is we are unfortunately losing a player. If any of you watching are interested, or you know someone who is, I might open up applications again. I've kind of had a bad experience with flakes recently, so I might be a little bit more hard ass about recruiting. But yeah, if you're interested in playing a chief medical officer or a science officer, then I might have a spot for you in this game. The other announcement is next week we will be trying to do a Mirrorverse episode. So far, I think everyone's schedule is going to be okay, what with it being Easter weekend, but we'll play it by ear and we'll see what happens. But unless anyone has any announcements of their own, I believe Crowley has the opening log for this week.
Oh, let me mess it up. Alright. First officer's personal log. Stardate 49832.5. With the threat of the Fifth War potentially behind us, we're all looking forward to hoping to call them an ally one day. The crew of the Arcadia has slowly returned back to normal, and they're excited to go explore a system known as LHS-3173. Chief Hylong and her team have discovered an interesting binary black hole setup there in the early stages of merging. We're en route to explore and identify the possible phenomenon. Despite having a new ship, like the Sovereign, I have noticed that the one constant in all of the universe apparently seems to be sensor time requests. Everyone's still clamoring for their slot, their shot at using the sensors. I've worked with the department heads to set up any rotation. Any time-sensitive projects will be given priority, and any standard projects have been pushed or delayed. Hopefully this will mitigate the demand. I've taken upon myself to also request from Starfleet of a intelligence gathering information setup. I requested from the captain a room on deck 11 by the communications relay. This will be my personal use as well. And other than that, been a couple of weeks since I've made a log, so I do have a bit to go through. It has been good being aboard the vessel. Seems to have calmed down with the threat being fading. And as we get on with our exploration, I'm looking forward to any new discoveries we make. One new discovery, though, that has caught me off guard was the captain requesting an honor duel. I look forward to this, as I've decided to read up on the Certa Draco culture, and on the captain himself extensively. End log.
Okay. As the stardate might indicate, it has been at least 3 weeks, if not like a month and a half, since your last session. So, obviously, we do have the honor duel between Crowley and Tahan. But did anyone have any quick scenes they wanted to get out of the way before that?
Matic and Crothers.
Sure. I will put you in engineering if that's okay.
I need to get my Crothers voice out.
All right. Might help if I went with you guys too. All right. Chief, and where is Crothers? There's Crothers. Crothers. All right. Crowley isn't there, but there you are. You're all in engineering.
Aw, I feel so left out.
Crothers, how's the body of that SETI Prime doing?
It's been dismantled and examined and studied for reverse engineering.
Do you see any similarities to Commander Data?
Besides it being all cybernetic, no.
That's interesting. How about our new friend that we found whenever we got the ship?
The AI? Oh, I've studied it thoroughly. I gave it a lot of information, but as far as for integrating into any work I have, I cannot seem to use it for any of my projects. I have put it on the back burner, as it's commonly referred to.
Okay. Do you see any practical applications for it in the future, or do you think that?
Potentially, one day, it's actually quite intuitive design. It takes data, it sorts it by categories, and then it assigns different references for such categories, like sun. It will associate warmth, light, heat, food, happiness, day. It will assign it all to this reference point and then start building upon it. It seems to want to grow, but at this point in time, I don't see how we can let it grow any further. Not without it integrating more of the computer of the ship. It would take more processing.
I mean, we could slowly open it up to more and more, but we would have to bring in Commander Crowley on that.
We could, and it's just my concern that if it starts feeding on the computer processing core, it could start taking away from other systems such as life support, containment fields, simple mundane things. It may not see them as potentially effective for it versus us.
So Alon actually kind of coughs politely and says, if I may, sirs, we do have spare bioneural gel packs. We could conceivably use one of these spares to give this program a, well, I suppose the logical simile would be a garden to grow in.
We could do that, but if it becomes attached to these components and us removing it from it afterwards or moving it, would that not like be performing a lobotomy? It's all theoretical. We could work with it to assign it a remote access to the android body that we have after I reassemble it. I want to make sure that it's not hiding anything, of course, but we could have it remote pilot it.
So Alon, thinks for a moment and says, it might be logical to not assume the capabilities of this program before we truly know its nature. At the moment, we do not really know if it is beyond holodeck character capable. If so, then we can deal with that when the time comes. But in my opinion, we should be treating it like a more advanced holodeck program like the EMH.
I would consider treating it like that, but the fact that it's able to grow is concerning. It could potentially become an issue. I would not want to integrate with any of the ship computers. If we could have a personal holo projector set up in one of the labs and confine it to that, that is also acceptable.
Yeah, Lon just kind of looks to Matic to see what Matic thinks of all this.
Whenever we first found it, I did send a message to Maddox
Mm-hmm.
with an X. Did I ever get a response from him regarding this? Because it is his creation.
Yes. He basically sent you the design notes and kind of a small little blurb that says something along the lines of, you can do with it as you wish. I abandoned that project and am now working on a new program. So kind of like, I think it's Louis Zimmerman is the guy who does the EMHs. Um, it's kind of like Zimmerman giving up the Mark One EMH and moving on to Andy Dick. Because as we all know, Andy Dick is apparently the Mark II.
I'm glad he moved on past that one quickly.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. I personally just don't feel comfortable integrating it with any systems past what the captain or commander would tell us to put it towards. I mean, this is potentially a. This could either be something that aids us immensely or it leaves us dead in the water, so to speak.
It could be like another lore. I hope not, but there is always that possibility, especially with new life like this. It it needs to learn and grow on its own. We can feed it all the information, but it will have to make its own choices. And then there's also the possibility of Starfleet wanting to claim it as a project, like they have with Commander Data's daughter. They also try to treat Commander Data as a non-living being. This is a concern. But if you like, I can rebuild the body and get it set up with a QEC interaction, so it's able to walk around the ship then. It won't be confined to a room, it will have full accessibility where it's allowed to travel the ship.
Right, but being a VI or an AI or whatever level.
It would limit its potential growth slightly. It would have a decrease in information gaining as it's only restricted to its eyes and hearing and vocal. It would be limited, but it'd also be allowed to learn slowly and adjust. This is
Right,
actually
but
part of one of my experiments.
there are reports of Commander Data being able to read thousands of words a minute on top of listening to 8 different musical pieces and being able to discern between all of them. So,
Yes, a normal computer does that as well. We can try to limit the information it can receive and throttle back, but it won't have the information it's been gained that we've been given it so far from the sensors, from the computer data banks, just dumping all that information in. It could learn at its own speed. It won't be as strong as data if that is your concern. We can definitely make changes to the body for that.
that's not something I'm too worried about. I believe that the way he was built, he was meant for that. But I'm also sure any mechanical body is probably going to be stronger by a significant margin than standard flesh humanoid body.
Well, we could use softer materials on the joints, have it required to be charged up, and if it does anything exerting, it drains the charge on it. We could limit it so it actually has to dock, or at least acquire a power source. Much like the Borg. That's actually fascinating. We could use some designs of the Borg nature. An alcove would be to charge it.
No, just no. Mm, that's the last thing I want to be sending up my chain of command is, hey, I have an idea for a body for an AI. It's gonna be based off a Borg design. That's not paperwork I feel like doing.
We have made advancements through enemy technologies before. And I'm not saying we assimilate someone. I'm just saying that we use the idea of their requiring a rest period. I am interested in to see how it interacts with the crew and how it would interact with other organic beings, and even given the ability to move around. It would be a fascinating research.
Yeah, it definitely would. Would would the body be based off the SETI Prime body that you currently own, or would
That
we need to do a different one?
that body's been stripped down just to make sure that it was not hiding anything of potential threat to the ship. But I can reassemble it. We can make adjustments to it if necessary. If you wanted to have a proper face to make you feel comfortable in speaking to it, I could replicate one.
I would probably be fine with the face. I don't know about other crew members, but I mean, there would probably be an eventuality where we would allow it to design itself, if that makes sense.
I will make it gender neutral then.
Okay. So that of course goes on, gives a little bit of an insight what's going on with the VI AI. Anyone else have any scenes before we do the whole honor duel thing?
Yeah, Crowley is going to be requesting Ensign Los to show up at his office.
Okay. Office.
On my way, sir.
Ooh, I got a new office.
Yeah, this is the office we're going to be using that isn't the captain's. All senior staff members will have a office similar to this on deck 2.
It's so pretty.
I'm so wee.
Tiny Los.
All right, there you go.
Ensign Los, thank you for coming.
Yes, Commander. I sit down.
I see here that you reported a shift change. You no longer wish to be on Alpha.
That's right, sir. I thought my skills would be better served on other shifts.
Well, Beta currently has Ensign Roche doing the tactical watch, and Chief Alon on full watch on Gamma. So, Ensign, you are aware I'm a Betazoid, correct?
Yes, sir.
So, I want you to be comfortable. I want you to feel that you can be aboard this vessel perfectly fine. But the last few times I've seen the captain aboard the bridge with you around, I've gotten the immediate sense of something. Anxiety, nervousness. Tell me more about that.
Commander, if you don't mind, I would rather not. It's not professional. It's not anything to do with the captain. I've been speaking with a few Vedics over subspace communication. I'm trying to handle it that way, but if you insist, I can see the counselor.
Very well. As for your request, I'm denying it. I do not have anyone to replace your position on Alpha Shift that will accommodate the change.
Sir, I disagree. For the safety of ship and crew, I request you reconsider.
I'll take it under advisement. In the meantime, I want you to see Nalan then.
Yes, sir. Is that all?
Yes, dismissed.
Thank you, Commander. And he gets up and leaves.
How did he feel?
About what? There's a lot going on.
About me denying his request.
He's very worried.
Alright. And about me asking why he wanted to, like, what was the issue with his emotional state when I brought up?
Sorry, you cut out on me there. What was the last word?
What was the reasoning for his emotional state? When I asked him like his reasoning for the emotional states he was when around the captain, how did he feel then?
Um, almost like guilt.
All right. All right. And I will quickly just send a brief message, text format, to Counselor Nilan.
Okay. If I understand correctly, of course, Tahan, you may correct me. I think you wanted to handle the Nalan low scene off camera, so to speak.
Yes, absolutely. I do want to say it definitely happens
Mm-hmm.
in that the results of that conversation get relayed to the captain and commander again later, but I do want to do it all off screen.
Okay, that's fair.
Okay.
All right. In that case, I think we're finally ready for the honor duel. So I will place you guys on the holodeck. So I've already put up the lovely chart that you'll need, but to kind of set the scene, I imagine Crowley, you probably arrive last. So when you step inside the holodeck, you see that Captain Tahan has appropriately dressed for this encounter, which I'll let him describe himself in a moment. And he's also wielding the sword that Hailong gave him. Hailong herself is also present, and she seems to be giving Tahan some last-minute pointers. So if you two want to kind of describe your outfits that you're in and what weapon that you're carrying, if you want to go into further detail there.
Yeah, I can go ahead and start. I'm wearing a well, I've got the holodeck's version of the sword Hylon gave me.
Mm-hmm.
The idea being that if I actually hit Crowley with it, I won't cut him and injure him. Otherwise, the outfit is like the modern version of the traditional, like Serrato Draco fencing gear or swordplay attire. So it's kind of like in TNG when we see them doing martial arts, and it's like the TNG version of like a gi and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Similar to that, it's the modern, updated version of traditional Serrato Draco garb,
Okay.
sized for humans and Trill.
I imagined. Okay. What about you, Crowley?
Oh well, I do have a person with me. I bring them.
Okay.
Follow behind me.
Who'd you bring?
Carruthers.
Crothers. Okay.
He's trained in medicine and won't piss off Andromeda.
All right. All right. So Crothers will kind of sit on the sidelines.
He just waves awkwardly at the captain. Crowley is think of Captain Picard in First Contact without his uniform on, just a red shirt. That's what Crowley shows up in. He does have a shoulder down his left, from his shoulder down to his left arm, a leather guard. It looks weighted for the hand. He's holding onto a bar, and in the other hand, he just has a small short sword.
Okay. So Hailong will step forward and say, "Well, gentlemen, I don't think I need to explain really the rules of this engagement, but since we have a guest," she looks kind of sideways at Carruthers, "I'll reiterate. These are holographic weapons. They are simulated damage, and you are in no danger of, well, maiming each other unless you decide to go hand to hand. The duel will go until one of you has been sufficiently injured or until one of you yields. Is this acceptable for both of you?"
Agreed.
I just nod my head.
All right. So Hylon steps back and tells the computer to begin a countdown. And out of character, as the computer counts down, I did want to say, for this fight specifically, both of you are going to start with 2 momentum, and you're going to keep track of your own momentum here. This momentum will not carry over to future scenes, so use this momentum during the fight as you wish. But to decide who acts first, I would like each of you to roll me a 1d100, and whoever is the lowest will go first. All right, Crowley's got a 72.
Real quick,
Yes.
Matic is at Moe's, and they are betting on the fight.
Oh, sorry, I should have said that earlier. This fight is not being broadcasted.
Don't mean we can't bet on it. Just means we need to know
Yeah.
who wins.
Okay.
We
Who
still
would,
bet. I mean,
who would you bet on out of curiosity?
You started, Matt.
I'd probably bet on Crowley.
Okay, Crowley. What about you, Janice? What are you voting for?
I'm going for the captain because he is the slayer of dragons.
Very good. Nolan, do you have a horse in this race, or you just?
What are the odds right now?
I gotta turn you up because you are a little bit quiet. The odds at the moment are actually pretty even. It's something like 1.3 to 1 in favor of the captain.
Okay. After seeing the commander's fight with Hailong, we'll go a little higher. I'll put 5 strips down on the commander.
Okay.
I have to win now. I'm sorry, Captain. You're going down.
Oh,
Actually, as the countdown happens, Crowley will bring up the sword and smile. And he's like, "I've studied you in depth, Captain."
You better have.
Is there like a crowd to this, or is it just the 4 of them in there?
it is literally just the 4 of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
You sure we can't use our engineer to do some sneaky spy stuff?
I mean, you could.
And just have like a little pad while we're in the corner watching? I mean...
What about just audio? Like it's a radio fight.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
I'll let it happen, but you're gonna need to roll for it.
Okay.
In order to not get caught, keyword not get caught, I need you to roll me a daring plus engineering. I'm gonna make this a difficulty 3.
Is the ship going to help him because he's messing with the ship?
I will say this does involve the ship's computers and security.
Computers and security. That's what I'm...
He doesn't have a sheet. I was wondering if, like, because I'm assuming our Ferengi friend that's on here, he would probably know a thing or two. So I was wondering if he could assist, but he doesn't have a sheet. So
Yeah, I didn't stat him because I honestly didn't think he would be used for such a purpose. But I can have him statted for next session, no problem.
The Arcadia doesn't want us to play.
Roll good, Matic. Roll good.
I need to put breaking the directives as a focus.
That's amazing.
That's a value
I do
for
get
Matic.
a reroll though. I do get a reroll from technical expertise.
All right.
Oh, jeez.
Always good when you start with a complication.
So
All right.
there's 2 successes.
So what'll happen is you'll start to try and finagle some sort of connection to the holodeck. But before you can establish the connection, there is a hard command lockout that blocks you and notifies Sin at tactical.
Would it also notify the commander and captain as well?
Not
Like in a ready room?
Like not during their duel, but yes, you would also both get a kind of a side text message that says, "Hey, someone tried to watch in on your duel," kind of a thing.
Janice can't handle torture, so if they start torturing me, you're down, Matic.
I mean, Matic doesn't really care about getting caught. It's just we can't watch it, but they didn't say we couldn't listen to it.
always the word twister. I love it. Anyway, so the computer counts down from 5, and at 1, I'll say the captain, you are up first. So if you would care to describe how you go at Crowley with your sword.
I am actually going to take the guard action.
Oh, okay.
So it's a it doesn't tell me what to roll, but it is difficulty 0. And if I succeed, which it's difficulty 0, attacks against me have +1 difficulty until my next turn.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, it really doesn't give you a thing. I would say this would be a... How about an insight plus security, because you're trying to read Crowley's moves.
Absolutely. I'll go ahead and do that now.
Okay.
So player-wise, could go hand to hand.
You could.
If I disarm the captain. Now, Jahan, as a player, do you want to go hand to hand if I were to disarm you?
I accidentally only rolled 1 dice, so let me do that again.
Yeah, let's say go ahead and roll that again.
Also, would hand-to-hand be against the Sergeant Draco reason for this honor duel?
Not if both combatants agree to it.
Okay, so I can't make someone.
Yeah, they specifically would have to agree.
Okay. So I did get 1 success.
Yeah, so you get 1 momentum. And you are considered to be in the guard position at the moment. So,
All right, and I'm just wondering if there are any minor actions I can take as well. I don't know if there are.
What page is this in?
Page 172 is where minor actions start, and then other full task actions start on page 173.
Okay.
And then I'll also take the aim minor action. So, would that work on my attack roll when he attacks me?
I would say yes, because it is on an attack before the start of your next turn.
All right, I'll do that as well.
Okay. All right, so Tahan kind of slips into a guarded stance and readies his weapon and kind of invites Crowley to come to him.
Alright. Let's see. I'm just looking at something here. Okay. So, how does the advantage work in this?
Well, you would describe the advantage you'd want to create, and I will have you do a... assuming you're doing the non-momentum spend, I'll give you a task at difficulty 2, and if you pass, you create said advantage. But if you want to do the momentum spend to create the advantage, then I still need to know what the advantage is you're trying to make.
So I'm just trying to wonder, like, how does what exactly does the advantage do me for in combat? Like, what does it trigger?
Oh, well, an advantage always decreases the difficulty or makes a task possible, kind of a thing. So depending on the advantage, you could say nullify his guard, but you would have to do the momentum spend create advantage instead of like the full task create advantage.
Okay. So I'm gonna make an advantage using my new intelligence officer perk. One's permission as an intelligence officer may create an advantage without requiring a task or spending any resources.
No.
This advantage reflects some detail or insight the officer learned in an intelligence report. I studied the captain.
That's super cool.
For those wondering at home, this is from the new command book that you can find the intelligence officer. Pick it up at stores now. You're welcome, Orpheus. Anyway, yeah, sure, I'll allow it. I will say that your insight will allow your next attack to be at a decreased difficulty, so between the guard and this, you're still at just difficulty 1.
So you're going to send a link to Modifius and say, hey, come support us, right, with that statement?
So is that a minor action, or can I still aim?
Well, you're the intelligence officer, because I'm looking at it now. The intelligence officer specifically says it doesn't cost anything.
Yes.
So you still have minor and full action.
All right. So yeah, I will aim for my attack,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm going to do the attack against them.
Okay, so I think you both know by now it is a daring plus security. The difficulty is 1, and we're looking for who has the most successes here.
Well, I'm just going to go ahead and use momentum.
I don't have a focus that's not hand to hand.
All right, that's a whopping 3 for the captain. So yeah, Tahan, you get 3 momentum, and you actually are able to counterattack versus Crowley.
Do I get 3 or no? It's 4. I had a crit.
Well, no, because it's a difficulty 1 task.
Oh right. So I get 2 momentum because the task and then the commander's success.
No, I think you still get 3.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So yeah, Tahan, you actually are able to block and counterattack. So as you wish, go ahead and roll the challenge die for your weapon and kind of describe how you go about counterattacking the commander.
So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 damage.
Okay.
Is there? There's not like a double injury roll, right?
There would be if Crowley had all of his stress gone.
Okay, but not
aim.
But you did.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, if you could.
Yeah, go ahead and reroll that 0 because that could affect his momentum.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you only get 2 momentum then, so you would be at 4. But yeah, he still beat you out pretty badly, Crowley.
Right. So it's 9 damage. How did you attack me, Crowley?
I was just going in for a quick little jab. Underneath the guard.
Oh, okay. In that case, I would have. I actually guarded with my blade and kicked you in the chest.
Okay.
Oh wait, no, I can't do that because of vicious. It's with the sword, but
yeah, I was gonna say it does have to use the sword if you want vicious.
Okay. I'll just say I used the longer reach of my blade to strike you before you could even hit me with yours.
Okay. So, Crowley, as you're fended off, you will take that much stress damage. However, we have hit the magic number of 5+. So you either need to spend 2 momentum immediately to avoid suffering an injury. You'll still take the stress. Or you can spend your determination to also avoid the injury. But if you do neither, then you're out of the fight.
I'll spend momentum.
Okay. All right. So Tahan, you do a series of quick slices and jabs at Crowley as you push him back. And Crowley, if this was using real weapons, you might be sporting some nasty gashes right about now. But I believe now it is the captain's turn again.
That's right. And I'd say now I'm going to go on the offensive, and I will go ahead and use the aim minor action, and I will attack using 3 dice.
Okay. Uh-oh, I see red.
That's okay, because I aimed.
Survey says All right, so you are equal, and if I remember my combat rules correctly, the acting character wins. So yeah, Tahan, you get another hit on Crowley. So this would be double injury. So go ahead and describe how you would quote unquote finish off Crowley.
This one, I'm going to go ahead and use the 2, even though it's not necessary. I'll use the 2 of my 3 momentum to disarm him. And then after 1 slash against his, let's say across his chest, he falls down, and then I have the tip of the sword at his neck.
All right. So Crowley, this all happens. How do you react?
I'm smiling. I've got a big smile on my face there as I look to Hylong. And I look back at the captain and I was like, good fight, sir.
Thank you. But I honestly could not have done it without Hylon's instruction. And then I will flip the blade back and offer you my hand to pick you up.
Yeah, I'll take and lift myself up with your help.
So Hylong does kind of walk over and says, "You both fought well. Commander, I consider this matter closed. You need not worry about any future challenges from me."
I'm glad. Captain? Hylong? Her others?
Commander?
I'm going to get cleaned up. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for indulging us.
My honor. And my pleasure. And Crowley will leave.
Okay.
I'm getting money.
Just flying down the drain. Oh.
Yeah, that was how I imagined Hylong's fight would be. Just constant, 6s and 7s. Nope, she can't roll for shit.
To be clear, that was 10 damage that last time, by the way.
It's a little insane. Any case, though, now that the honor duel's over with, Hylong will extend the invitation to the captain that she will buy the first round of drinks at Moe's.
Well, I'll be there.
I thought you might. All right. So
One
because...
thing.
Oh, go ahead.
As Captain Tahan and Chief Hylong leave the holodeck, Carruthers will just say, "Computer, record that and save it to personal file Carruthers Fight-1."
Oh, that's great.
I mean, Hylong's just going to kind of chuckle, so if the captain doesn't stop Carruthers, that happens.
Oh no, he does it as they leave.
Ah. So after they're out of earshot.
Yeah.
All right, gotcha.
He'll send it to Matic.
Okay.
As everyone's leaving because they couldn't stream the fight, there is an unusual amount of crew members just kind of hanging around outside the holodeck.
Okay.
Like it's one of those that like they look busy, but if you pay attention to like their pads or something, like their pads are blank. They're not really talking about anything. They're like, "Hey, how's the weather doing?" It's like the weather's controlled by the ship.
Yeah, I can see that. All right, cool. So yeah, would anyone else care to be in Moe's when Hylong and the captain walk in?
Matic is still there.
Matic is still there. Okay.
Oh, I've been. Me and him were sitting in the corner trying to hack shit, so I'm totally there.
All right. We'll put you at this table. Janice, you're there. Got to shrink you down. You're there. Who am I missing? Milan, you're missing.
Yeah, I'm there.
You're there? Okay. Are you by yourself? You with anyone?
I'll be by myself.
Okay. All right. And put you guys on the lovely lounge map. So yeah, you walk inside, and sure enough, you see that the place is packed. And yeah, Hylong just kind of, walks with the captain over to the bar and says, "Mo, give me your finest Andorian whiskey. 2, please." And Mo just kind of raises an eyebrow and begins pouring and says, "So, how'd the fight go, Captain? I can only guess good things based on the fact Hylong here's, paying for drinks."
which is an absolute shame. Hylong, this is on me. Well, if you want, this can be on me. But it is all due to her excellent apprenticeship.
Huh. As they say, the teacher is only good as their pupil. And she kind of raises the glass as Mo slides it over to you guys. She kind of raises it towards the captain.
I'll raise mine back, give a nod, and wait for the cheers.
Yeah, so clinks it, downs it, and almost immediately after that, you hear a bit of muffled grumbling from the unnamed Gorn, which we still have to come up with a name for.
His name is Gorn!
No, his
Because
name
of
can't
Gorn.
be Gorn. No.
Gorn McGornface.
The lovely Gorn security officer, who is still unnamed, walks over to Madigan Trevik, or Janice, and says, I just got a report from Sin that somebody here, and he looks very pointedly at Madik, who for some reason continues to be junior grade on some maps, but looks very pointedly at Madik and says that somebody tried to circumvent some security problems, or not problems, security precautions. Know anything about that?
And then I look at him and says, and you didn't call security alert? How could you let that happen? What kind of security guy are you? I mean, come on, seriously.
They just sort of stare at you like they know your goose is cooked.
It was him.
Matt just kind of shrugs, and I'm like, he's like, all right, cool, I'm in trouble again.
And
I've
the
already
Medal
broken
of
the simple
Valor.
farm directive. Not like I can do anything much worse.
So, the security officer just kind of rolls their eyes and says, whatever, just don't do it again. We already have enough problems down here at Moe's. We don't need Sin coming down here and cracking down on us.
You gotta admit, though, it would be funny to watch.
Well, I would be remiss if I said I wouldn't want to see such a fight, so I guess we'll just have to hope that either it got recorded or that we hear good stories about it.
Right then, Maddox's datapad would ping with the fight from Crothers, and I'd be like, don't worry. It's all good.
All right, well, just stay out of trouble, all right? And then, unless you stop them, the Gorn will go back to his usual hidey spot in the corner.
I
And
want
of
to fight
course,
that Gorn
Captain
next.
and Hylong, you would have heard and seen all of this.
I've
I'll,
floated the file to the lawn.
I'll get up and walk over to their table and say, Lieutenants, if you wanted to watch the fight, you could have just asked.
What's the fun in that?
You're right, it was a boring fight. Cheers. And I'll turn around.
Oh, poor Crowley.
It's not fun.
Oh, that's not what I meant, God!
My ears are slightly burning somewhere on deck 11.
Oh, all right.
The fight recording would only be... It'd only be like, what, a minute, maybe?
I would say maybe 30 seconds. That's how quick it was.
Yeah,
Yikes.
Mag would be like boring. 30 seconds. No, and he kind of like sets the datapad up, and him and Janice start watching.
Okay. You soon gather a crowd of people around your table, and there's much hooping and hollering from those who have won their bets, and disgruntled grumbling from others who may have bet on the commander.
Yeah. You can tell I'm like visibly upset whenever my datapad pings and I see that the bite from the fight is on my datapad now. Oh.
I think at some point I'm actually going to sit down and figure out how to keep track of what Latinum you guys has, but that's a future me problem.
Present you.
Yeah, go
Apparently
ahead.
they're coming out with a book called Xenonomics, where it's supposed to actually go over the economics of Star Trek.
I'll have to look into that.
I don't think it's Modifius. I think it's like an actual from Star Trek's people.
Well, if I find a copy of it, I will certainly read up. Because yeah, otherwise I'd pretty much just like give you guys a Latinum stipend or something. But again, future me problem. Unless anyone had any other scenes they wanted to get out of the way, I did want to get us into the bulk of the adventure today. So one quick kind of open floor. Did anyone have anything that they wanted to get out of the way?
No,
I don't
I'm
have
good.
anything.
I stirred the pot. It was amazing.
All right. So I will put you guys on this map, and I will describe it as soon as I fix the overlay. All right. So eventually, you arrive in the, I believe Crowley coined it the LH7 something system. Either way, the system is uncharted and unnamed. So whatever. There we go. LHS 3173. That's all it's really noted as. And when you arrive in system, sensors immediately detect, and Hylung would report this. Sir, the only thing in system is the binary black hole arrangement. And I think I don't really need to say this, but it's worth saying for posterity that this is something rather rare, and I'm glad we're here and able to study it. However, as she scans again, I would like this to be an actual roll. So if someone would like to roll for Hylong, it's a bog standard reason plus science, and the ship will assist with sensors plus science.
I'll take.
Offering a suggestion, possibly, would we, depending on the difficulty.
Oh, it's difficulty 1.
Okay. Because I was going to suggest maybe offering some threat for additional dice to gain more momentum, but it's just a thought.
Is somebody rolling for the ship?
1 second. Nilan, you're very, very quiet.
Oh. Could be because I'm using the phone app, because my computer will just not cooperate with me right now. Let me see if I can.
Yeah, adjust your mic volume first before I adjust you, because I don't want you blowing up my eardrums.
Right, right. That's fair. Right.
All right, so I think Janice is rolling for the ship, yeah?
Yeah, I got the ship. Give me confirmation on your roll on the roll.
Sensors and science for the ship.
Raj.
Hey, look at that. That's some momentum. As long as you, as long as Hylong gets one success, that's some momentum right there.
Who do we have rolling for Hylong?
I don't think anyone claimed it.
I'll do it.
I think Nilan was going to, but mic issues.
Yeah.
Reason science,
Yep.
astrophysics,
Yep.
point of threat for an extra dice. If everyone else is okay with it.
Yeah, go for it.
Now, good thing you spent that extra dice. So you gain 2 momentum. So what happens is Hylong runs a secondary scan. She kind of tilts her head to the side and eyes the data for a moment, and then reports, Sir, it seems we've arrived at a rather opportune time. The 2 black holes are in a decaying orbit, so they're going to collide and merge within the next 2 weeks' time. Again, I don't think I need to say it, but I will anyway. This is tremendous from a scientific standpoint.
Beautiful. Let's go ahead and work up all of our experiment plans and lab reports, and let's go ahead and get as much use out of this as we can. This is a gold mine.
Right away, sir. And as, people start sending off reports telling people, hey, you can use the sensors, etc., Sin from behind you says, sir, I don't know if it's anything, but in looking over these scan results, there's a fluctuation in the Hawking radiation of the smaller singularity.
Hello, Nilan.
Sorry.
Hello?
Hi. We actually can
Okay.
hear you now.
Yay! Okay, cool. We're fine.
Yeah.
We're good.
Sorry, I couldn't catch what Sen said. I had a strange audio artifact.
Okay, I'm sorry, no problem. So Sin has said that there is a fluctuation in the Hawking radiation of the smaller singularity.
Do I know what that means?
Basically, it's how do I want to say this without spoiling it? Again, this is based on my research, so it could be wrong, but all black holes emit this sort of radiation, but for it to fluctuate would mean something is changing within the singularity, or that it's I think I can basically say that something is happening with the singularity.
Okay, let's go ahead and... What's our distance to the phenomenon right now?
I would say you're probably, we'll say 3 AU out.
Ooh, that's not very far for two black holes.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get to like 10 AU.
Okay.
Very well, sir.
And that shouldn't affect our sensor data, should it?
No, not really. There's nothing else consistent to really mess with anything.
But let's also go ahead and leave behind our best probe to keep an eye on all this data.
Okay. So, of course, as this all happens and Janice takes the Arcadia to probably a safer distance just for safety, Sin, again, just kind of goes, a bit of an update on the signal, Captain. Does appear to be a repeating pattern of sorts.
I know I always say this, but let's run it through the language processor.
Already ahead of you, sir. So if someone would like to roll for Sin, this is a control plus engineering, and the ship is assisting with communications and science. The difficulty here is a 3.
Okay. I'll roll for Sen. You said control plus engineering?
Yep.
Cryptography focus apply here?
Linguistics would probably be best.
Linguistics, okay.
Damn it! I'm gonna stop rolling for the ship.
Oh,
Yikes!
All right, so I'm gonna take threat for the complication, and
Oh, boy.
what'll happen here is Sin will say, "Well, it's gonna take a while, sir. As you could probably guess, the science teams have already nearly overloaded the sensors. But as soon as I have a result, I will let you know."
Question. How
Mhm.
long? When these two black holes merge,
Mm-hmm.
in theory, or if we've witnessed this before, what's gonna happen?
My understanding is they just kind of form into one big black hole.
Gravitational shear for has to be absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, I would not recommend being near here when they combine.
How? Just out of curiosity, how close is the star to this thing?
There is no star.
Ooh, that's a good thing.
Yeah, it is literally just these two black holes that are just sitting there orbiting each other.
Do we know how these two black holes formed originally?
You do not at the moment.
Yeah, no star. That would keep me from going into brown alert. So good.
All right. Because things turned out this way, getting the universal translator to see if the signal is, well, a language of some sort, it would take probably, I think I rolled 3 hours before Sin has a result. So is there anything anyone wants to do during those 3 hours?
Crowley's been MIA from the bridge for the 3 hours.
Okay.
Yeah, Janice doesn't leave because he's constantly fighting ship to stay in position, even with computer.
I'm going to do two things. One is let Crowley know that we're here and that he probably doesn't want to miss this, but I won't force him to come to the bridge. And the other one, if computer and sensor resources can spare it, I'd like to get a holographic recording for my personal use.
I think as the captain, you basically could kick someone off the sensor array to get what you need.
Well, not anything that, all of our experiments come before that for me.
Okay.
I'm assuming I could use the existing, because I don't know who would be using the sensors right now not pointing at this. And so I will just piggyback off all of their data and then have a recreation of a holographic representation for myself.
Oh, well, the good news is stellar cartography is recording all of this data in such a format. So yes, you'd be easily able to get a secondary recording.
Awesome.
Matic would go to engineering, and he's already looking up in case of black hole do this or engineering stuff.
The engineering handbook, whatever the equivalent of Grey's Anatomy is for engineers, it basically says don't get caught in the event horizon, and if you do, you've got faster than light engines. You can break free.
Ooh, one last thing. I think Andromeda should see this. I think she'd appreciate it.
Okay. Yeah, so Andromeda, let's see, where's the Arboretum? Yeah, she'll come to the bridge if you want her up there.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, she can come up.
Okay. So out of curiosity, at the end of this 3-hour time window, Crowley, would you be back on the bridge yet?
If he wasn't ordered to, no.
Okay. Then I will make your token disappear. Same with Maddox, because Maddox is in engineering. All right. I will
say.
Oh, go ahead.
I'll say I've been helping Sin with the language decode.
Okay. So eventually, the universal translator is able to spit back a result, and as you look over Sin's shoulder, she just kind of says, "I'm not the best linguist in the world, but I think that looks like an SOS."
Is it from any? I'm looking through it. Does it look like it's from any identifiable culture or species?
Not one that the computer is familiar with, sir. No.
Let's go ahead and send back a reply, asking for more information and give them our identifying information.
All right. This would be another control plus engineering from Sin. And again, the ship is assisting with comms plus science. Difficulty 2.
Can I assist on this one?
Yeah, sure. Yours would be I guess a presence plus science might be a good thing here.
Okay. And subspace communication as a focus?
Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah. Janice, you just...
Yeah, I'm stopping. No more rolling for ship today for me. I'll just sit here and listen to this story.
Poor guy. All right. Who's doing Sin?
I mean, I'm usually committing lots of sins, but...
You meet.
Well, someone has to do Sin.
I'll do Sen.
Okay.
Remind me of the roll again.
Control plus engineering.
Okay, control percent.
I was about to say you don't want me to re-roll.
Controls engineering. Would any of her focuses apply here? Or-
Yes, her linguist focus would apply.
Yep. Okay. Applicable focus. Yep.
All right, so let's break that down. That is 3 momentum for you guys.
We're at 5.
Yep. So, Sin transmits a standard greeting back towards the black hole, and because it is on the view screen, what you see is that a orb of light begins to emerge from the black hole. It's very small, but since there's not exactly a whole lot of other sunlight or light in the system, it's very noticeable. And this light leaves the event horizon and starts to head towards the Arcadia.
Lieutenant, evasive maneuver. Can we get some kind of scan on this object, please?
Sure.
Yes. Yes, sir. I'll start moving the ship around.
Okay. So as Hylong does the scan, it is noticeable on the view screen and from readings that this orb of light is following the ship as it kind of tries to evade. And Hylong reports, "Sir, I'm detecting pure triolic energy."
Quiet.
Googling triolic energy.
I'm 99% sure that it's literally technobabble, but it is. If you want to. I mentioned this in Ophion. I was like, I know I mentioned this somewhere. So triolic waves are used as an energy source by the Davidians. And if you need to remind what the Davidians are, they were the time-traveling entities where Data's head got stuck in a mine shaft. That was, I think it's Time's Arrow is the episode of TNG.
Yes, 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
Where they basically suck the energy out of humans and blame it on a plague.
Mm-hmm.
So would this look like a ball of weapon energy, or is this just like their version of a shuttle? Have any idea to test that?
I would say you could guess one way or the other, but you don't know for sure.
Waiting for your orders, Captain.
Send raise shields, Janice. Keep us from colliding, and Captain to Crowley, report to the bridge.
Aye, sir.
How fast is this thing moving?
How fast are you moving?
We're holding position right now. We're holding position at 10 AUs. So if it's approaching us, I'm going to try to move away from it at that speed till we get a better idea of what it is.
Okay. Fourth impulse, half impulse, full impulse.
Basically matching the speed of this incoming target as long as it's not going faster than light. So we don't leave
it
the
will
system.
match you.
Oh, lovely. Then we're going to go full impulse without the captain's orders to jump to warp speed.
Okay. So, Janice, if you could roll me a control plus con.
Very well.
And someone would like to roll for the ship. This would be I believe an engines plus con would be appropriate here. Difficulty here would be a 2.
I'll roll for the ship.
Okay.
Engines con.
Yep.
And this would be an evasive action on my focus, correct?
Yep. All right, 1 success from the Arcadia. All right, you're capped on momentum.
Of course not. I roll good.
So yeah, Janice, you do a hell of a job at full impulse, kind of steering away from this orb of light, but it's getting closer and closer and closer no matter what you do. Even if you overtax the engines, you basically are pulling out every trick in the book that you know of to get distance, and it's still coming.
Would I sense anything?
You would not, but you would be on the bridge at this point.
Gapping.
Sin, send out another message. Ask them to hold position, and we will communicate. Send it to that object. I point to the orb.
Right away, sir. She sends it off, and almost like a Q blink, but not a Q blink, the orb of light vanishes, and on the middle of the bridge, well, not the middle, but in the front, near the view screen, a being materializes. Almost like it piggybacked on your signal. And that's
Through our shields?
Yeah, through your shields. So the creature, the best way I could describe it is a being made of pure light. It is vaguely humanoid. It does not have a head, as much as you can tell. It's kind of I suppose a flat surface, kind of with a tapered back. It does, again, it seems to be humanoid-ish. It has 2 arms and 2 legs. It stands about 7 feet tall, and it kind of moves what would be its head as it looks around. Finally it says, via the universal translator, it says, "Who among you is the high-ranking officer?"
I will get out of my chair and make sure that none of my security officers are pointing any phasers.
Oh, yeah, Sin is has her hand next to her side, ready to go if need be.
Yeah, I just kind of give her the palm side of my hand, just keep it down for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
And say, I am Captain Athos Tahan of the starship Arcadia. The first bit of that show gets stuck in your head. Captain Athos Tahan of the starship Arcadia. We come in peace, and we heard your distress signal as we were observing this astrological phenomenon. Are you in distress?
Well, I appreciate you letting me know. I am Amel. I am from a species known as the Fahi, and I will put that in chat, because otherwise, so that's the species. That's this entity's name. And Amel says, "It is good that you were able to answer our distress call. We had all but resigned ourselves to destruction. As you see, we live within the smaller singularity, and we call it," and he says a name which does not translate, and I'm not even going to try to say. But he says, "There are 300 of us in there, and we need a life raft so that we can survive."
I presume you would need to find another singularity to live within. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes. We can exist in your form for extended periods of time, but eventually we would need to return to a singularity.
I understand. Hailong, where's the nearest stable singularity to this location?
One moment, sir. You're not going to like it. It's about 3 weeks travel at max warp, sir.
Amel, given this time frame, how would you fare?
We would be able to exist without any problems.
Okay, then. We are a peacekeeping vessel, and we would be happy to help you. But if I may ask a small favor, and you may feel free to decline, we would love to know everything about your people and life inside the singularity. That is, in fact, why we're here today, is to study this phenomenon.
That is an acceptable exchange. And somehow, without even saying anything or giving off some sort of signal that the sensors would detect, a cornucopia of lights begin to emerge from the small singularity and head in your direction. And Sin, of course, being the security officer, says, "Sir, I must protest. We have no idea what they're capable of."
We have to extend them trust before they can trust us. And I turn to Nalan and Crowley. Do either of you sense anything?
Do we?
That is a big negative, 10-9er.
So when they said they need to be in our form, do they mean they need to be in a body that they can survive in, or can they just, or do they mean it's the humanoid form they're in?
The humanoid form that they're in at the moment.
Can we at least establish
Good
where we're
question.
going to store these 300 people and at least try to
I actually had a
minimize
handout. I
their
forgot I had
access?
a handout.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
Oh,
We've definitely got the space for 300 extra humanoids.
Well, right. Not. Do we have a space? More of, have we designated a space?
Crowley would be working on it. He'd probably convert one of their cargo bays for the emergency life raft situation.
And that's why you're in charge. And that's why you're the XO. Good job.
Alright. So, unless anyone does anything to stop it, the stream of lights will begin coming through your shields and coalescing across the ship. And Sin immediately reports, "Sir, you probably can guess, but I'm getting reports from all decks that these Fahey are materializing. Where should we take them?"
Crowley, you find a place for our guests, and I will walk behind the bridge to Sin, and I will discreetly ask her to deploy security teams on all decks. Under no circumstances are they to appear anything other than welcoming. But until we know more, better safe than sorry.
Understood, sir. So again, from a larger narrative perspective, the Fahey begin to be escorted to cargo bays, to extra guest quarters. There's obviously enough room for them, but it does get to the point where there's still a couple stragglers in the hallways, kind of a thing. Obviously, security teams will deal with them, but it is kind of a tense situation there for a little bit. But this whole process, I would say, maybe takes, we'll say at max, probably an hour to get everyone situated.
Okay. And then is Amel still on the bridge with us?
Unless you had him escorted off, yeah, he's still there.
No, he's kind of my go-to guy now. Emil, how long can you stay in your current forms?
I have to find it in my notes. Hold on. We can exist like this for a period of 5 weeks by your timing.
Okay, and the current phenomenon ends how long? 2 weeks? 3 weeks?
It could be any time between now and 2 weeks. So it could happen 5 minutes from now. It could happen 2 weeks from now. Somewhere in that time span.
Okay. Emil, I would like to stay here and study this phenomenon as long as possible before putting you and your people in jeopardy. Would that be acceptable?
You are our lifeboat. We must comply with whatever you see as fit.
I understand. And I don't know if it would be emotional for you or not to view the phenomenon of what is ending what was once your home or not, and I am sensitive to that fact.
Mel just kind of turns and looks at the view screen and says, "I will observe for now."
I'd like a couple senior officers to come with me to the observation room.
Okay.
Counselor, Commander, and Hylong.
Okay. So there's High.
Okay.
I guess also Andromeda. Sorry to leave you out, Janice, but we need you at your post.
Yeah, it just means he's the ranking officer.
Yeah, you have the You have the con.
He has the bridge.
Oh, force fields up in the observation lounge.
All right. So yeah, all of you adjourn to the observation lounge, and Hylong and Andromeda both kind of look at the captain and kind of wait for him to, call the meeting to order.
Captain Tematic, we're having a senior staff meeting. If you'd like to join us, I believe you may have noticed we have some new guests aboard the Arcadia.
Yeah, I'm guessing they're friendly.
They have been so far.
All right.
Hey,
I'll
hey, hey.
make my way up there then.
All right. So Matic will be there.
It's a comfortable
got it.
chair.
Yes, I need to be in the big seat right now. This don't happen very often. I'm on feel the nice curves.
All right. So yeah, Matic arrives pretty quickly. Anyone else you wanted to call in?
I think that's all of the player characters.
Okay.
I'm trying to think if there's any supporting characters that I would definitely need in addition to this. I am open to suggestions.
Sin for tactical stuff, security.
Sin, if you would ask, refuses to leave the bridge. Why Amel is there?
I kind of figured she'd say that. That's okay. We could get another security officer up here. Who's the next ranking? Is it Rouge or is it Los?
It would actually be some lieutenant, because you do have 500 people under your crew
Right.
now. So,
All right, Captain to some lieutenant, please report to the observation lounge.
Maybe Sorrel? I don't know.
I could see it being Sorrel.
sure, we haven't used him in a while. He can come up to the bridge.
Hey.
He's
part of-
tiny. There
He's
we
part of
Always
my
using
gamma
it.
shift.
You can always use another good Vulcan.
Oh, yeah, that is a handsome man. I am playing him as my secondary character. Hell yeah.
Wait, is that the token for next week's episode or this week's?
That's always been his token.
I know, but the goatee. Okay. So obviously we have some new guests aboard, and we need to apprise ourselves of the tactical situation as well as the implications this has on our research mission. I open the floor to everyone.
Hylong does kind of speak up first, unless anyone stops her and says, I'm sure that they'll go through with their part of the deal and give us some information about what it's like to live in a singularity. To my knowledge, though, this isn't the first time we've come across such entities. There was an instance on the Enterprise D that I'm aware of where aliens were using singularities as a breeding ground for their young. Could these be the same ones, perhaps?
I know the incident you're referring to, but I hadn't considered it. We could certainly ask them. I assume the singularity we're heading toward is not artificial.
Out of character, you mean the one 3 weeks away?
Yeah, that one.
As far as I know, sir, it is a naturally occurring phenomenon.
Okay. Well, either way, we should coordinate with our guests to see if that will be a suitable home for them. In addition, I would like to leave a team behind to view the final moments of the singularity in case we do need to leave before that, so that our guests don't endure any bodily harm.
And just for my clarification, is this Amel dude still standing here in the middle of...
Oh, no, he would
while
have
I'm
moved to
chilling?
the side.
Oh, okay. Good, because he'd be blocking my view of my awesomeness.
But Andromeda will actually kind of pipe up and say, hey, again, I'm just mostly getting this secondhand, but might it be possible to, I don't know, create a singularity that would be suitable for them?
I mean, it's certainly something we're capable of doing given enough thought and effort and resources, but as Hylong mentioned, if they are similar to the creatures from the Enterprise D incident, an artificial black hole would be harmful to them. However, it's certainly an avenue that we should explore.
So, because I want to throw you a bone here, Matic, if you would like to roll a Reason plus Engineering at difficulty 3, Hylong can also roll a Reason plus Science, also at a difficulty 3.
Oh boy.
Dice for momentum. I mean, momentum for dice.
Yeah, you've got full momentum. Might as well
Here we
use
go.
it.
Give him some credit.
Let's see. Quantum mechanics.
Yeah. Okay. Anyone rolling for Hylong?
I'll get Hylong. Reason plus science, you said?
Yep, difficulty 3.
Okay. Let's see. She also has a quantum mechanics focus. Do we care if I spend a momentum for the extra dice here?
It would
I
put you
encourage
down to
it.
4, so go for it.
Okay.
Curiosity. If they
Mhm.
had like a pad or some kind of console, wouldn't they be using the ship for research at this time too?
This would be more
to
of
support their theory.
a insight type deal.
Oh, okay. I was just
Um,
asking. I was just trying to help my
I-
shipmates.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I'm gonna whisper this to Matic, since I think it'd be more appropriate if Matic brought it up. So just give me 1 second to make sure it's copied right. Okay. And where is Matic on Discord?
Captain, if we shoot all of the torpedoes into this black hole, we can speed up the process. I'm kidding. That's not it.
Basically, that's the idea you're gonna come up with.
Where's the nearest one of those kinds of stars?
Well, propose to the captain and the rest of the people, and I might tell you.
All right. So here's an idea, Captain. Before we put the chromium on the first Arcadia, remember those gravimetric anomalies?
I do.
If we were to get a phase compressor, a quantum torpedo warhead, some spare parts from a tractor beam generator, and 3 cubic meters of electron degenerate matter, the stuff from a white dwarf, we could possibly turn one of them into a self-sustaining singularity.
Okay. That's. I guess I certainly wouldn't mind getting rid of one of those lovely obstacles. Captain to email.
Janice would hear this, and I'm assuming Janice would connect the two.
Oh wait, he's just in the next room.
Yeah, I mean, he's
through the
literally
door.
in the next room.
Yeah.
The technology has made us lazy.
Yeah. It's like texting someone sitting next to you.
Mhm.
I'll walk back into the bridge and email. We've been discussing some alternative options. Would you like to join us in the observation lounge?
Without saying anything, he doesn't walk per se, but he kind of hovers towards your direction. And I guess he would hover right through the door, following you, and kind of deposit
Excellent.
himself right about there.
We have been discussing a few alternative options so that we may not need to travel quite as far. including the creation of an artificial self-sustaining singularity. We do have knowledge of other species that do live in singularities or breed their young inside them. And we do know that sometimes artificial singularities do not work well for these purposes. I do not know if that is the same for your people.
As long as the singularity is at no risk of collapsing in on itself, any singularity will suffice.
Well, if you would like to work alongside our science department, or if you have any science specialists among your people, we would love your input in constructing a new home for you.
So after probably about 30 seconds, both Matic and Tahan get the same message. And that message is that some of the Fahey have left their quote-unquote holdings and are now just kind of holding position in engineering.
Matic gets up and starts making his way to engineering.
Okay.
Emil, do you know why this is?
You asked for our help.
Do you have an instantaneous or a collective consciousness?
In a sense.
I see. Okay. Sin, would you like to move our escort? Or Sin is in the other room.
Well, she can poke her head in. She would have probably followed Emil.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and have our escorts redistributed along with the Feifi. And Hylong Andromeda, if you'd like to go ahead and begin this research, I highly encourage it.
Of course, sir. Right away. All right. So, as everyone begins to filter off, Crowley, you've been pretty quiet. What do you think about all this?
He's just thinking of the logistical work and all that stuff right now. He's making sure that everyone's comfortable and that everyone is briefed on these new guests aboard the ship. So there's no misunderstanding or any chance of any hostile interaction can occur.
Okay. Nalan, anything you'd like to add?
I would probably just probably actually go down to engineering and observe the Fahey helping them out.
Okay.
I do want Crowley to stick behind while the rest of the observation lounge clears.
Okay.
I guess I should say this. Nalan and Crowley would have gotten the synth from Matic that they're in his space. The guests are in his territory. Why are they in such a critical area without consulting, the people that need to be consulted?
Right. The joy of having two Betazoids on board.
Technically 3 if I ever introduced my supporting character.
Ooh, that's true.
Was Crowley supposed to be on shift when we got here?
I mean, it is Alpha Shift, so...
So while it's just Crowley and me in the observation lounge,
Mm-hmm.
Commander, may I ask why you weren't on the bridge when we arrived?
Oh, it's the new shift change I've done. I'm part of Gamma Shift and Alpha Shift. Half the shift of Gamma and starting half of Alpha, I am not aboard the bridge.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't for any personal reasons.
No. Oh, if you're talking about the duel, that went pleasantly.
Okay, I thought it did as well. But you don't have a reputation for not sulking sometimes.
The duel... I didn't want there to be any off feelings between Hylong and me. After all, I am the voice of the crew. So... I felt it best to not go hand to hand.
Well, we can always spar between us later, but I assure you Hylong has the utmost respect for you, especially after agreeing to the duel.
I'm glad that she's doing better in terms of planning around me. But no, I was just doing some of my duties in regards to intelligence gathering.
Okay, well, this isn't going to take priority now, but I did hear back from the counselor regarding Instant Los, and I think after all of this is done, the two of us need to talk about that.
Very well.
All right. Well, let's get back to work.
All
Aye,
right.
sir.
And this seems like a perfect opportunity to take our break. So yeah, let's take our break. Be back in 5 to 10 minutes.
I should have gone hand to hand.
I mean, according to the captain, it was a boring fight.
No, you shouldn't have gone hand to hand because it put money in my pocket.
I would have had a focus. It'd have been so sad.
What would the focus have been?
Hand-to-hand combat if I'd went hand-to-hand. Krav Maga.
Technically, you're still going hand to hand if you're fighting with blades.
Hmm. Good to know next time. Well, hey, at least Hailong's not literally having the emotion of planning when I censor her. That's terrifying. That's she made that an emotion.
Okay, I am back.
Welcome back.
So, question, GM.
Mm-hmm.
Would hand-to-hand count as a focus for Crowley's fight if Crowley had used that focus?
I'm gonna stick with my earlier guns. That hand to hand is literally hand to hand. Using bladed weaponry like a dagger or sword, I'm gonna say that's probably gonna be a different focus. Because, for example, you could be skilled in Krav Maga, but you might not know how to effectively use a dagger in combat.
The thing with Krav Maga is you use everything as a weapon.
All right. Yeah.
Like this ashtray, it's now a weapon. This pizza tray, it's a weapon. This shoelace, you're now choking someone out with it. It's an interesting fight style because it looks so aggressive, but it's basically just to look aggressive. It has no emotional state of aggression in it. It is designed to make your opponent fear you. At the same time, being very tactical with it.
It's about finishing the fight, not winning the fight.
Yeah.
I've been training in it for too long. But it's just basically hit the pressure points, make them either stop fighting or finish it. Like you don't try to win it, you just finish it.
You survive it.
All right. Janice, are you still here or are you AFK? I'm going to assume that means he's AFK. All right. Well, when he gets back and the captain gets back, we will continue.
Whew.
Oh yeah, Mr. GM.
Mm-hmm.
Last session when we did our rep goal, I got 3 reputation.
Mm-hmm.
Talked to the captain, and I know before medals and awards were even introduced to the game, I had it as part of the background there. So we're just saying that it became active. For the terms
What
of
would the
effect.
award be?
Starcross.
The Starcross. Okay.
So that is triggered, as it were.
So, XO, sir,
Hmm.
I want to have engineering put a little DNA sensitive door into my console It keeps a Type 2 phaser in it. Think about it.
We all carry our own weapons on us.
Not
It
in
is-
TNG, they didn't. They
Yeah, I
didn't
was
carry
saying
it when they're on the
TNG,
ship.
They don't.
Yeah, but this isn't TNG.
Okay, well, I didn't know we made that establishing fact. In that case, then don't worry about it.
I don't think we ever did, but I think since Maddox started carrying around a knife, and Crowley was like, "I'm going to carry around this pistol," everyone else just kind of like, "Yeah, let's just be armed all the time."
No, Crowley doesn't have a pistol. He has a modified AA shotgun in his office.
Just on the wall.
Bored.
So
Yeah.
what you're saying is we're a bunch of organized, slightly militarized pirate group?
No. We're just
Oh, okay.
prepared.
Oh, okay.
The one thing I will say before we start up again is I, through no deliberate action of my own, the Ophion has a character now that does 9 challenge die worth of damage, and it's vicious 1. So
Oh, jeez.
Jeez.
yeah, it's literally the max you can go with a by the book kind of weapon, and we're just sitting there like, that's a thing.
No.
9 challenge dice and vicious just describes my morning breath.
Oh dear. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get started again. So we'll say, not because I don't want to skimp on RP, but because I do want to get through it. You are able to find a white dwarf star that is about 2 days travel from the Arcadia's current position. But kind of, I think you would know this in character more than you would need to say roll for it. But basically, getting to the white dwarf isn't the problem. It's extracting the matter. Transporters aren't going to be able to handle such dense material, and you're going to need to send out a shuttle, so either the Roddenberry, the captain's yacht, or another shuttle. They've got to go and use their tractor beam to bring the core sample aboard. And then you kind of got to roll a card around with a tractor beam emitter that'll suspend the matter.
And then where's the nearest anomaly that we're actually doing all this work to?
Well, it's the Shackleton Expanse. You are literally tripping over gravimetric anomalies.
Okay. Well, given all that, then I think I'd like to send our warp-capable shuttles, so the Roddenberry and our newly named Captain's Yacht, which I believe we said is the Hawking.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go ahead and send those two to do the work of extraction and towing. But I want to leave the Arcadia here to study the collapsing black holes.
Okay. So I will put us on this map as I make some things visible. So the Roddenberry's going, and the yacht's going. Do I have a view of the yacht? Nah, we're just gonna have to deal with the overhead version. All right, and then I can make it a little bit bigger.
Crowley was definitely in the Roddenberry.
Yeah, that was my next question, is who would be going on this gathering mission?
Maddox would be in the Roddenberry.
Okay.
Would he be able to make the quantum torpedo in the Roddenberry, or would he have to wait till they get back?
Oh, no, this is something you're definitely going to have to do either in a lab or in main engineering.
Okay.
All right, so Crowley and Maddox are on the Roddenberry. Who's on the yacht?
Ensign Delix would be on the yacht.
Okay.
Real quick, I wanted to see if I could. Would be a retroactive thing, so just shoot it down if you want to.
Mm-hmm.
During that 3-hour time span, could I have had Ensign Delix scan those black holes to maybe figure out the origin of the second one that had shown up?
Sure. I'll just give this information to you.
Okay.
What happened is obviously there was just a black hole minding its own business, and then something caused another black hole, the smaller one, to kind of intercept the gravitational plane. And from there, it just kind of spiraled until they were binary. And then recently, it started to decay.
Huh.
But
Okay.
I would say Delix being an ensign, I don't think he knows about Q. I don't think that's
Okay.
covered in ensign material, but
Right.
if he were to bring this up to the commander or the captain, they could probably safely guess that a Q might have been involved.
Okay.
They don't
Cool.
have to have been involved, but it's probably a safe bet.
Right. Okay.
If I need a character on the away mission, my go-to is always Los, so he
Okay.
can be on the captain's yacht, I suppose.
Okay. Who else are we missing? Janice, are you staying on the Arcadia or are you going on this away mission?
Well, I'm probably, because of the situation where the ship is and everything else, that character would probably stay on the ship.
Okay.
But I know I talked about taking Alon because he's completely, basically opposite of Janice,
Okay.
and then having an engineer on a captain's yacht would probably make a lot of sense.
Okay. So Alon will come along. So go ahead and look at the screen. Is that about the breakdown you wanted to use?
Who's in command of the captain's yacht? Are we going to go with the two ensigns?
I think technically the chief has rank.
That's interesting.
It's kind of like Chief O'Brien on DS9. He's able to order around ensigns.
I thought Nog could order him around.
Technically he can.
Yes, positional authority.
Yeah. But it's
Yeah.
kind of one of those things where, O'Brien was more experienced, so that, the ensigns usually listened to him when he ordered them to fix something, kind of a thing. It's more of a respect thing.
O'Brien had a position of power though. Wasn't he chief engineer? He was chief of something on the station.
I think he was chief of operations.
Chief
Anyway.
of operations. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Again, positional authority, it's a real thing in the military where you, even though you're below rank, you still have positional authority over people senior to you due to your captain's placement and stuff.
Mm-hmm. All right. So I think that's everyone. So we will basically pick right back up with the Roddenberry and the captain's yacht, the Hawking, arriving near this white dwarf. And almost immediately, sensors would indicate that there is kind of a bit of solar activity going on. Nothing super major, but because you are in sort of small ships, it does make flying close enough to the dwarf to tractor some material off. It does make it a little bit difficult. So Crowley, I'm guessing you're piloting the Roddenberry. Who's piloting the yacht?
It should not be Ensign Los.
Let's see. I don't think Delux would be too good for this either. No, he will not.
I don't think any of them could be considered. Nope. All of them have ones in con.
Welp.
Oh man, is it possible at all just to have the yacht and the Runberry controls connected so I can just do them both?
No, that
Show
would
off.
be cheating.
Would
No, like-
it be possible if we had a new supporting character that happened to be a pilot?
Some little senior chief someplace that's got some kind of pilot skill. That's about
Or
it.
like an ensign or something?
What? Get it?
Yeah, I was gonna say Gavin
yeah,
is good.
A warrant officer.
Eh? What is Gaddit? Gaddit is a chief specialist. You could use
there you
Gaddit
go.
if you wanted.
Yeah, she happens to be along as the pilot.
Okay, she's there too.
I like how the captain's yacht's smaller than the Runner, but it has the most people in it.
Yeah,
It's cramped in here.
I'll mess with size later.
I mean, it's, the senior staff is all by themselves with all this room and, lower decks just crammed together.
I mean, if this is a real episode and that's what you saw on the captain's yacht, you'd assume in the episode that the captain's yacht's going to get blown up.
Yeah.
Not wrong.
Don't give him
No
any
wonder you're
ideas.
taking so much threat.
We got to talk about the unofficially and unnamed red shirt rule about unmanned supporting characters in scenes and how they can take injuries for you.
Oh dear. All right. Well, to get back on track, I do need whoever is piloting for each. I need a daring plus con. The difficulty would be a 2.
Do you need rolls for the 2 shuttles? Small craft, rather.
Let's say for them it is an engines plus con for the
Oh
for
boy.
the Roddenberry and the Hawking.
All right, I can roll for Hawking.
Oh,
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't have access to get it on my list.
I think you should. She should be at the very bottom.
Oh, you are right. You know what the problem is? My bar is covering. My bad.
That's okay. Matic got you.
Get it, got 2 successes.
All right, so the captain's yacht is fine. We need a roll from the Roddenberry.
And that was, what again, sorry? Engines and con?
Yep. Also scene change, so you're down to 4 momentum.
Okay.
All right, so what'll happen is the captain's yacht is able to get close enough to the White Dwarf, no problem. However, the Roddenberry, Crowley, you're having a bit more tough time for whatever reason, either just because the Roddenberry's a little bit bigger, or you're a little bit sluggish.
I'd say since it's my complication, my left arm's acting up.
Okay, fair enough. So this will not really super damage you unless I roll max damage, but the Roddenberry will take 4 damage worth to its shields, as it does fly in close.
You are so lucky Janice ain't around to see that.
But in any event, the 2 vessels, the 2 small craft, are finally within tractor range. So working together, I need to know which ship is going to be the primary, and who is going to be rolling the control. Where is it? A control plus security is assisted by the shuttle's structure plus security. Difficulty 2, and then you also get an assist from the assisting ship.
I'd say the Roddenberry because I have the best control security, and also the Roddenberry has higher power, and I think the better structure of 7.
Okay.
I don't know what the Captain Yacht has at the moment.
Structure 7 on the yacht as well.
Okay, power 7 as well. Yeah, I'll make that roll then. Command and control.
Control plus security.
Sorry, security.
And then the Roddenberry and the captain's yacht, the Hawking, will do a structure plus security.
Would I have focus for this because it's a small craft?
I'm going to say no, because this is more about using the tractor beam than it is the craft themselves.
Alright.
Alright.
Oh, Captain's Yacht.
Yeah, captain's yacht is... well, the good news is you should get a momentum. But there is going to be a complication. As the Roddenberry lances out with its tractor beam and begins to extract a little bit of a core fragment, the yacht tries to help out with its own tractor beam, and in the process, the captain's yacht's tractor beam overloads and sends a showering bit of sparks over pretty much everyone in the yacht. Luckily, the damage is mostly superficial, but you will be taking no damage.
hey.
But yeah, with this in hand, the Roddenberry and the Hawking now have, between the two of them, suspended a bit of white dwarf matter. So yeah, at this point, I'm going to simply say, because I don't want us rolling 6,000 con checks, if you both want to give me, both pilots want to give me another control plus con, difficulty 2, and this will represent how well you basically are state-wise by the time you get back to the Arcadia.
Does my focus apply now?
It does now. Okay.
Would these ships be assisting at all or no?
Yeah, sure. I'll let the ships assist. Engines plus con for the ships.
The roll, forget it.
Yeah, go for it. All right. Well, let's hope Gadget gets 2 successes, or this is going to be interesting.
Okay, what's the roll? Forget it.
It is control plus con.
And then she gets a focus because of small craft, right?
Mm-hmm. All right, so Gadget saves the day. So narratively, what happens is as the two of you, the 2 ships are on the way back to the Arcadia, the Roddenberry's tractor beam flutters for a moment, and the hold on the core fragment kind of jostles, but due to Gadget's quick thinking and maneuvering, she is able to basically make sure that the core fragment doesn't go careening off at warp speeds to go slam into who knows what, how many years down the line. But I will say that both the Roddenberry and the yacht in the process will take 3 damage in the process.
Ooh.
But luckily, that's not nearly enough to either go through shields or it's not the Magic 5. So you finally arrive back at the Arcadia, a little bit bruised and battered, but not really too worse for wear. And again, for sake of argument, we'll say that you're more than able to get the core fragment aboard the ship and to where you want to work with it. So, where would you like to work with it? In engineering, in a weapons launch room, in a lab?
I'm gonna go to a lab
Okay.
just in case it goes sideways. I don't want an explosion right next to the warp core.
All right. We'll repurpose the biolab for a moment. All right. Who would you like to be working with you?
Sin,
Okay.
one of the Fahai,
Okay. Probably a
Fahi,
no.
whatever.
Would this be considered experimental technology?
Yeah. I would say so.
Carruthers could help.
Okay.
Yeah, Crothers.
Crothers. Actually, I already have his token. His token's over here.
Hey, Sin, can you think of anyone else who might be able to assist us?
I mean, if we 3 can't get it done, or sorry, 4, then I mean, we're the most qualified on the ship.
All right, let's get to work.
All right. So, narratively, or not narratively, but mechanically, this is going to be a pretty standard extended task. The work track is 14. The magnitude is 4. There is a resistance of 1 because you are trying to be safe and obviously not blowing up your shiny new ship. And the base difficulty is a 4. The default task is daring plus engineering or daring plus science. So who would like to take the lead on this one?
I think Matic will.
Okay. Also, this is a scene change, so down to 3 momentum.
Wait, did you say this is extended task or is this just regular rolling?
This is extended task.
Okay. Everyone good momentum for an extra dice?
Sure.
Prototype engineering, I'm assuming. 'Cause assuming. 'Cause I'm 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 assuming.
would you look at that? How do I want to say this? It is a difficulty 4, but don't you have a talent that lets you reroll? And if
If I'm
not,
assisted by the computers or sensors.
yeah, I would say if
But
not,
is
Sin could
Sin or
assist.
Crothers or Emil not assisting?
I was to say yeah, so Sin or Carruthers could assist. Just let me know which one.
Who has the higher daring? Because I have 8.
I think Sin definitely has like a 10.
I'll let her go and assist.
Okay. Who's rolling for Sin?
I'll get Sin.
Okay. Daring plus Science for Sin.
Daring plus Science. Okay. I would
Wait,
assume
what's her science?
Science is 2.
Well, we'll say she can do engineering. I think her engineering's a little bit higher.
Okay, let's start that over then. Daring, engineering. Would any of her focuses apply or no?
Oh, go ahead.
Because I did an engineering task, doesn't the difficulty go down by 1 because I'm on the ship?
Oh yeah, that's right. You're a chief engineer. Well, let's still roll for Sin because momentum could matter.
Yeah.
I don't think none of her focuses would apply here. So, and yeah,
Hey, look at that. You get a momentum. So yeah, narratively, what this means is Matic and Sin working together begin opening up the quantum torpedo, and more or less begin scooping out the unnecessary guts and putting in basically what's going to be the tractor beam containment field that's going to hold the white dwarf matter. So Matic, if you want to go ahead and roll me 6 challenge die for the work.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Okay. So you do this in record time, achieving a breakthrough. So the difficulty does go down by 1. So up next we have another roll. Matic, you still want to be the head on this, or?
Yeah, because my talent's really helpful.
Okay. All right. Well, you know what to do. Same old daring plus engineering roll.
Dice for momentum.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, would you look at that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so even without assistance, Matic is able to kind of kitabosh the tractor emitters to feed off the torpedo's internal power supply. And at this point, all you really need to do is situate the white dwarf matter so that it will implode when the torpedo goes off. So go ahead and roll me another 6 challenge die. See how much work you get done. Yeah, I think you actually complete it. Yeah. Technically, you're supposed to roll again, but I'm just going to hand wave it because I already feel like I'm railroading you guys. So, yeah, Matic, you have no problem with Sin looking on, providing advice, Carruthers doing the same, and Emel just kind of passively observing. You now have a quote-unquote singularity torpedo, which you could use to your heart's content.
Just out of curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we can talk about this after. I was going to say, what kind of weapon would this be?
I do have stats for it in case you wanted to fire it at a ship, but we'll discuss that like after the session.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
I just want to make a mental note.
That's like a Geneva type weapon you never want to deploy, especially at a planet.
Yeah, it would definitely be breaking a lot of Starfleet regs to fire this weapon on a ship or a planet.
All fun and games, so we're in trouble.
I don't know. The FEF have it coming to them.
But science.
In any event, I don't know. Would you kind of just report to the bridge immediately? Would you wait a little bit to temper expectations? What's the play here now that you have the torpedo?
Maddox gonna have Sin transport it to the weapons bay, go ahead and start loading it up,
Mm-hmm.
and then he's gonna take a detour going to the bridge.
Okay, where are you detouring?
Just take a walk through the arboretum, smell the roses.
All right. So put you guys back on the bridge map. All right. Where is everyone? I have to bring people back. So you're there. Where did I put Matic? Matic has disappeared. Oh, no, there he is.
Damn it, Q.
So probably about 30 minutes later, with everyone on the bridge, Sin reports, Sir, we have the Singularity Torpedo in Loading Bay 1 to be fired whenever we find the anomaly that we want to use for this purpose.
Excellent. Let's go ahead and sorry, my mic cut out. Let's leave a few ships behind to study the anomaly while we go create a new wormhole.
All right. I'm assuming you're leaving the Roddenberry behind because it is your biggest and best.
Yeah, whichever has the best sensors and science equipment.
Yeah, I think it's probably going to be the Roddenberry.
Oh no. No. My baby.
I mean, Crowley, you could opt to stay behind on the Roddenberry if you wanted.
Yeah, Crowley would stay.
All right.
Oh, I want it to be black hole food.
This way, if the Arcadia gets sucked into a black hole, hey, Crowley's still alive.
Oh, dear. All right. So, I'll say, for sake of argument here, that it's really just a matter of how far out you want to go before you try and create the singularity. Do you want to go a few light years out? Do you want to go literally next door? Do you want to maybe stay at warp for a week? You know, how far away would you want to create this new anomaly?
So I don't want to be gone from the studying the binary system for too long.
Mm-hmm.
But I do want to make sure we put the anomaly not in any major travel paths.
Okay.
My question would be, have we contacted Stellar Cartography and made sure they had an input? Because we don't want to put this thing down someplace that'll make a gravitational shift. Will affect star systems.
Yeah, I mean, Hai Long, I think, will be in charge of picking your location.
Yeah, this is basically out of character. This is basically me asking how much Hai Long should feed to you guys. So probably a couple light years away then, because that's a short trip at high warp.
That sounds great.
Okay. So Hai Long feeds the coordinates to Janice, and Janice, you get the coordinates for an eddy-ridden system, approximately 2.5 light years distant. Very quick kind of jaunt at high warp. The system in question is just a collapsing type F star. It's projected to become a dwarf star, but with creating the singularity, the star will obviously be fed slowly, mind you, but it will be fed into the new anomaly.
And into the what about the planets in the system?
No planets, just the sun.
Okay.
Well, there's also some asteroid belts, but who cares about those?
They could have life on them.
Yeah, let's make sure we do scan for life. Do our due diligence.
All right, roll me a reason plus science and ship will assist with sensors plus science. Difficulty is only a 1.
Who's rolling it?
I'll go ahead and do it.
Rolling for Hai Long?
I can roll for myself.
Okay.
I guess Hai Long's pretty good. Reason science, right?
Yep.
And the ship?
Sensors and science for the ship.
I would actually. It's reason science, right?
For the character doing the task, yes. Hey, you got a success. You're not entirely cursed.
I'm going to use. I'm going to use my determination.
Okay.
The value here being never do what you know is wrong.
Okay.
So I'm going to add 2 successes, and I'm going to roll my reason science.
Okay.
I don't think I have any applicable focuses here, though.
Okay. I believe you get 3 momentum. So yeah, you do your due diligence. You scan the system for literally any sign of life, even if it is, say, plant-based or kind of dormant. And the closest thing you find that could be considered, I guess, building blocks of life is that there is a silicon-based structure on one of the asteroid belt, or one of the asteroids in the asteroid belt. But further scanning of this would reveal it to be just a natural formation of kind of like a column of silicon. But it's definitely not, say, a silicon-based life form as far as you're able to tell. It's kind of like a monolith, if that makes any sense.
Okay, so we are in the regulatory clear.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Hi, Longmatic, if you'd like to do the honors.
Hylon kind of looks at Maddox since it is his project. Uh-oh, did we lose Maddox? I think we might have.
No, I'm here.
Okay. No, you have the honors to fire the torpedo at your convenience.
Matic looks like he's about to give a speech, just kind of shrugs and then just says, "Okay, fire away," and then fires.
All right, so on the view screen, you all see the blue and white colored quantum torpedo fly towards one of the gravimetric anomalies in system, and the effect is almost instantaneous as the torpedo detonates inside the anomaly. Space begins to warp, and even this far away, you feel a jolt as the ship lurches forward just a little bit, as this burgeoning black hole begins to form. Sensors would report that it's a little bit smaller than the one you rescued the Fahey from, but it should suffice, or at least Amel says it should suffice.
If you do need help from us in the future, we'll leave behind a communications buoy, and then you can use that to contact us if you ever need any more help, or should you just want to.
I guess you would call it a nod. Amel kind of nods at you and then says, "We have left 60 kiloquads of data about our experience in the singularity in your computer core. I trust this is sufficient."
Yes, thank you very much. That is more than sufficient. Thank you.
So it doesn't say anything, and at this point, all the Fahey across the ship all turn back into those little balls of light, and you watch as they stream out from the Arcadia and all kind of dive into this new singularity. And after probably about 10 minutes of this, Sin reports, "That's the last of them, sir. We're in the clear."
All right. Let's go ahead and launch that communications relay, and let's rejoin with our small craft at the binary black holes.
Understood. So this is kind of a shorter session, but we do need to talk about Mirrorverse stuff, so it actually works out. So our kind of last shot of the Arcadia is you guys kind of heading back to the black hole and picking up your small ships. So
I would like to do
Oh, go ahead.
one thing before we start talking Mirrorverse.
Sure.
I'm going to visit Matic in his office.
Okay. I'm assuming as
And,
yourself.
Yeah, as myself, as Tahan.
Okay. All right. Let me set that up. Matic, and then where did I put your token? Apparently, you're not on this map. Let's fix that.
I do
Whenever the
have
captain
something.
walks in, what he sees is there's different posters of actual like physical paper blueprints of master ship designs. There's little like older engineering tools all over the place. It looks like a mess, like just glancing around. But whenever you actually pay attention, like like it's all very organized in a cluttered way.
Lieutenant, I have a project for you. I just got these schematics from Captain Sisko at Deep Space Nine, and I hand the lieutenant a pad.
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering if you could build this for me. I have an away mission that we need to go on.
This
And-
sounds off the books.
Neither of us will be going. But for the sake of fun, I don't want to say what is on that schematic until a future date.
Okay. I know what it is, and that's what matters.
Yeah, and I do think this is the kind of device that Matic would love to get his hands on.
Okay. So I guess the final scene then is Matic kind of raising an eyebrow in curiosity and probably
I
excitement.
had something too.
Oh, sorry.
Matic just kind of looks at the data pad, raises his eyebrow, smiles, and he goes, "Okay, yeah, yeah." And he's just talking to somebody like, "Yeah, I could do this, yeah." And he just doesn't say anything to the captain, just walks out, starts walking to his lab.
Oh, very good. All right. Sorry, I think I cut off Crowley. Did anyone else have anything they wanted to get out of the way real quick?
Carruthers in his lab.
Sure. What is Crothers doing in his lab?
It's a little short thing. Two red glowing eyes turn on, and he just starts giggling happily.
Okay. Sure. Progress with the VI shell. All right.
Yes.
All right. So I think this is where I'm going to stop the stream, but obviously players stick around because we do have a lot to go over for next week. So those of you watching on Twitch or YouTube, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.